wouldn't go days without showering. So why go days without clearing your energy?
In this episode, we're breaking down what energy hygiene actually is, beyond the buzzwords, and why it's just as essential as emotional or physical care. From grounding techniques to clearing rituals, we'll explore how to protect your energy, reset your nervous system, and stay spiritually aligned in a world that constantly pulls on your power. Welcome, I'm Elise.
And I'm Jess, and this is Spiritual Alchemy,
the podcast where we explore the intersection of science and spirituality
and how it shapes our everyday lives.
So, this is woo-woo, this is meta. What is energy hygiene and why is it essential for spiritual and emotional well-being?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Energy hygiene is the practice of maintaining and caring for one's energetic well-being. So it's akin to physical hygiene, but focused on subtle energy systems of the body and the environment. So it involves techniques like cleansing, protecting, and strengthening one's own energy field, promoting overall well-being by preventing the accumulation of negative energy and fostering a balanced and positive energetic state. It's essential for spiritual and emotional well-being because it helps individuals manage stress, enhance emotional regulation, and maintain a sense of inner peace and vitality.
Okay, so energy hygiene is like soul level care. It's daily practices, protecting energy fields. And to me, it's like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth prevents plaque. Energy hygiene clears emotional gunk, psychic debris, external stress that builds up throughout the day. Like, if it's not serving you, let go of it.
I like to think of it as we go to emotional regulation first, right? You're bottling things up. You just keep shoving like all these emotions down. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you explode. So energy hygiene practices help individuals manage and release emotional baggage, prevent buildup of stress and negative emotions that can impact your mental and emotional health. This is a mental health practice. This isn't just woo-woo, woo-choo, like whatever. This is mental freaking health.
Hand in
hand. You know your girlies love a mental health day. So let's talk about it. So not only does this help with emotional regulation, but it also gives you space for spiritual growth, right? When we're taking care of our emotions, when we're in tune with our body, when we're checked in, we're locked in, we're clearing away all that stagnant, negative, vibrational energy, the fear, the doubt, the guilt, the shame. You can create space to welcome in positive energy. Yeah, it's like balance, right? Like you can only stuff so much in the bottle, right? And if you choose to fill up your bottle with fear, with pain, with guilt, with shame,
that's your bottle.
That's what's in your bottle. But if you take some of that stuff out, guess what you can pop in there? Joy, positivity, like you can love.
Yeah, I'm equating this to a video that I saw on TikTok of somebody like put a tiny little bit of black dyed water in a cup and then explained that like that was a generational trauma and then showed how much clear water it would take to truly purify the water and take the dyed water out. And that's kind of what you have to do. You have to purify and continue. It's not just, fill up your glass and then the generational trauma or whatever will spill out. You have to constantly be adding higher vibrational into that, which is what you said. Love, I'm sorry, you said something else.
Love, joy.
That was the one.
Yeah, just things, peace, inner peace. So when you're working on yourself, when you raise your vibration, we talk about ripple effect, talking about water, ripple effect that ripples out towards the people that you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. So you feel these improved relationships around you, right? Like your relationships with others improve because of your relationship with yourself improves, right? Emotionally, it's like it seems so simple, right? Emotionally,
it should
aware
be.
people have better relationships. It should make sense, and it does. But it's so a hard thing to really put into practice to emotionally regulate yourself enough and then see the mirror of that. When you give yourself self-love, the world reflects love back to you. The world is your mirror in this instance. You get increased energy and vitality. This is facts. When you're grounded, when you feel more grounded and centered, you're more energized. So you have a better sense of vitality. I talk about that vital force energy. When you're feeding yourself positive energy, you're getting more energy to give back. You're filling your cup. Reduce stress and anxiety, enhance self-awareness, clarity, focus, and protection from negative influences. So practices like energetic shielding can help individuals feel more protected from negative energy and influences in their environment.
Beautiful. Clean field equals a clear mind.
Yeah, exactly. And you said,
don't be a sponge, be a lighthouse.
What does that even mean?
Okay, my dad says this to me. We're like, if you're a sponge, you're absorbing everyone else's opinions, like their vibration. You let people pull you down by literally absorbing it. And if you practice what you preach, you need to be that tall lighthouse in a storm, beaming your light out so that people can see that you're steady, you are the land. You don't have to be on these choppy waters. Ooh, I like that light. Ooh, I like that person. I'm gonna go there.
I like this analogy, and I'm gonna change it a little bit.
Do it.
Don't be an anchor. Be a lighthouse. Don't stay below the surface and weigh yourself down. Climb above. Be on that cliff. Be that beacon. Because what have we been saying, especially in these last few episodes? When you do the work on you, when you do the emotional regulation, when you do this spiritual cleansing, when you do these practices of shielding yourself from other people's negative energies, and I'll say too, like, we're not saying negative energies in a way that's like, oh, they're bad vibes. Like, everybody goes through stuff. Everybody goes through grief. Everybody goes through bad times, hard times. It's not abandoning the people in your life that are going through those hard times. It's instead of me being a sponge or being an anchor and staying down in the dark of the sea with you, I'm going to be the lighthouse, and I'm going to help you bring your ship to shore.
And also know that the lighthouse isn't in its own little bubble. The lighthouse is standing in the storm too.
Yes.
But it's learning how to stand in the storm and be bright.
We're in this storm together. I'm going to help you get home safely. And then the sun will come out.
Tomorrow.
We love it. Tomorrow. So some signs that you're feeling emotionally ungrounded or your energy might be off. The vibes are off. So mentally and emotionally, we can feel spaced out or disconnected. You might feel detached, dissociative, racing thoughts, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, stress, and emotional highs and lows. So like anxiety is your brain making assumptions. So when you're assuming what's going to happen, you're making yourself anxious. Think of like social situations. Maybe you just like assume everybody hates my outfit. I look stupid. How much anxiety and stress do you think that's going to cause you? And you're making an assumption. You don't actually know what everybody else thinks. My roommate called me out on this the other day because I was stressing about a situation at work where I was like worried about like a perception, like how I was being perceived by like a particular situation. And we talked about it, and she was like, well, listen, you're valid in how you feel, but like you're good, nothing's wrong. I'm going to validate you and nothing's wrong, and this is you making an assumption. But she was like, how funny is it, or how funny would it be if we realized how little people thought of us? And not like how little people thought of us, but like
They're not thinking about
nobody,
what you're, yeah.
I love this phrase of like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Everybody's worried about their own stuff. So by making assumptions, by assuming that we are the focus, we're limiting ourselves.
Oof, don't do that.
No. And you're just creating more stress, and stress is bad for the body.
And then it leads to having difficulty communicating.
Mm-hmm.
You misplace things, or you have trouble expressing how you feel because you're too in your head having those anxious thoughts, and you're just letting yourself spiral.
And you may get a little sensitive.
Lose your focus.
Mm-hmm. Feel restless, discontent, overthink, rumination. Another one, though, is daydreaming or getting lost in fantasy.
That's where I go.
Yeah. I love a daydream. If I'm dissociating, though, like that, I equate that with dissociating. Daydreaming, like sometimes if I'm in a stressful situation or in a situation that I'm like, I'm just going to dissociate now, like I'm going to think about something else.
Yeah. It's easy to take yourself out of the situation and daydream about something else.
Exactly. Could feel like you don't belong or feel like the victim in the situation. And you can also have difficulty making decisions based on those feelings of guilt and anxiety energy.
So yeah, so these are all things that you can start to emotionally and mentally feel, because without energetic care, you may start to absorb stuff that is not yours, but then you start carrying it like it is. That's like the worst. You know, when you're like around a big group of people and you're like, the vibes are off, but you don't take the time to even recognize that, and then you go home and you're like, that doesn't feel good. It's probably not yours.
Yeah. I always, as an empath, I think we both have experienced this, but I can definitely speak to myself where there was a point in time where I was not aware that I was like taking on other people's emotions to the point where I was feeling them like my own emotions. And again, I find myself to be like generally a very emotionally neutral person. Like I don't really get very upset unless something very, very upsetting happens. And I don't tend to be like overly happy. I don't tend to be overly sad. I don't really hit the extremes. I just kind of stay really middle most of the time. So when I'm suddenly feeling for no reason,
you're like, yeah,
overly emotional, I'm like, that doesn't align with me. But you know who I talked to today who is also highly emotional? This person. And I've taken that on. So now I need to do something to shed that.
Which leads to the physical of something physically that can happen.
Oh, yes. You can feel fatigue, restlessness, headaches, indigestion, so an upset stomach, feeling physically clumsy or having minor accidents. I always know I'm off when I'm already a clumsy person. I walk into walls, but like there are days when I literally will like be walking through a door and like shoulder the door frame or like trip over like the air constantly, and I'm like, something's off. I need to recalibrate.
I'll actually share on camera. You can't see this, but this past December, I constantly kept cutting my hands.
Oh, you know what? I have a voice note of you saying.
And like I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 scars on my hands because I was going through a really stressful time. I was about to do my first really big contract out of town, and I was just so busy and not grounded. And like I remember literally the day I went to perform, I go, my hands are covered in scabs. Practice what you preach.
So erratic sleeping patterns. So too much energy in the upper chakras can affect your sleep, causing difficulty falling asleep or sleeping excessively. So you get the two extremes. Restlessness or sleeping too much. Weak digestion or a loss of appetite. Problems with feet or legs. So some people believe that problems in the feet or legs can indicate a disconnection from the earth, like lower chakras. Obesity. In some spiritual beliefs, obesity is thought to be a response to overwhelm or trauma, where the body creates layers to protect itself. That is very subjective and open to interpretation. Like,
take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
So, some grounding techniques. What does grounding remind our soul?
That we are one with earth. We are one with Mother Nature.
Grounding techniques redirect attention to the present moment. They are effective for calming the nervous system and promoting emotional regulation. These techniques work by shifting the focus away from distressing thoughts, feelings, reducing the intensity of the body's fight or flight, or freeze or fawn response. Physically grounding can involve deep breathing, sensory exercises, mindful movement. Mental grounding utilizes visualization and affirmations. And interrupting overwhelming urges and promoting a sense of presence, grounding practices enhance emotional stability, reduce impulsivity, and improve overall.
Yeah, I think grounding really reconnects the mind to the body, and it tells your soul, hey, you're safe to land in your body.
Yeah.
You don't have to live all up in your head and be overthinking everything to the point that you're bumping into stuff and getting bruises and getting cuts on your hands. Like, you can land in your body and be safe.
Last episode, you brought up the sympathetic nervous system, so fight, flight, or freeze, versus the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest or digest. So, can you elaborate again, just for?
It's just you're going to have both. You're going to have both responses. It's how we've developed. But in this hustle culture, we give very little time for the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. I think a lot of people would say that their rest and digest happens at night when they go to sleep. And that simply cannot be the case. You need to find time where you are sitting and doing nothing, whether that be in the morning when you wake up and you sit and do nothing while you drink your coffee, or you get home from work and you sit and do nothing and just flip through a book or a magazine, or, you have to chill. And dare I even say, let yourself scroll. But don't doom scroll. Set a timer for like 10 minutes and just relax.
I would challenge everybody, and maybe we make this part of our journal prompts for the week, to pick an activity that is not technology based and do it for 10 minutes a day. After work, when you get home, do a crossword puzzle. Do like Sudoku. Do a puzzle. Paint. Knit. Crochet. Like, do something with your hands. Read a book. Do something for 10 minutes a day and see if your stress levels improve. I challenge everybody to do that, because I bet that if you took just 10 minutes, that next week you'd want to take 15, and the week after that you'd want to take 20, and you would build yourself up to that hour a day. Every day you get home from work, phone goes in a drawer, put it away, get away from it. Because when it's there, it's tempting to grab it and check it. We want to be connected. We have that availability complex where we need to be available all the time. You do not need to be accessible 24/7. You can take an hour.
Time to rest and digest.
5:30 to 6:30. That's your you time. We deserve you time. I know it's also hard and challenging when people have kids to take that time for you, but if you have that availability, maybe after the kids go to bed, take 30 minutes, take a bubble bath. Like, do something for you that is quiet, not technology based.
I think it's beautiful.
Or just sit. Ruminate.
I love sitting.
Ponder, if you will. So,
this will help you regulate emotions. Focusing on the present moment allows individuals to pause before reacting to intense emotions, fostering more thoughtful and controlled responses. I grew up with walkabouts. If things got heated, which I grew up in a feisty Italian house, so yeah, things got heated all the time, we were forced on walkabouts. And that bilateral movement in the body has proven by science to regulate your emotions, where you can think more clearly to react. Okay. And in doing so, it then will reduce overwhelm. So when emotions feel overwhelming, grounding techniques help redirect attention to the body and surroundings. We might have been heated, but we're walking. And in doing so, it provides a sense of stability and control. I'm safe. I'm here. We can handle this. We're walking. Mm-hmm. And then 9 times out of 10, actually, I would say 10 times out of 10, when I do a walkabout, I have mental clarity. Literally every time I do anything that is either an easy hike or walking, instant mental clarity. You calm the nervous system, grounding enhances your focus, then you get improved sleep and reduces mental fatigue.
Love it. Perfect. And so some examples of grounding techniques that you can try. Very simple. First one, deep breathing. These are not complicated. These are things that you can do today.
And by I'm going to just walk everybody through it. What I tell my boy students is you put your hand on your chest and you put your hand on your belly button and you take a deep breath. And then you have to first ask yourself, where are you feeling your breath? Are you feeling it in your upper hand or your bottom hand?
I'm feeling them both.
Great. Then take another deep breath. And the goal is to feel more of the movement in your bottom hand first, then your upper hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm
That is deep breathing.
Yeah, I can even feel it just after 2 breaths. Like it is, I actually did this the other night because I was having, I'll share too, like I am working through, some big lessons right now. I'm working through some, we'll call it trauma. It is trauma.
Call it what it is.
Call it what it is.
You gotta name it to tame it.
Name it to tame it.
My favorite saying.
I'm just like, how much do I want to share? So I'm working through some heavy stuff right now, and normally I can like compartmentalize, right? Like I'm like, this is my time to like meditate, journal, go to therapy, work on this, heavy lifts, right? And then the rest of the day I have to just like function and be Jess. And I was getting ready for bed, and I had started spiraling, thinking about like an anxiety thought that had come up while I was doing some work earlier that day. And I started just going down the rabbit hole. And I was laying down. I was like, you need to go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Like you'll forget it. Not like forget about it, but you'll work on it tomorrow. Don't worry about it. You can't think about this now. There's nothing you can do to solve this problem right now in this moment. And tried to like talk myself down, and I could not calm myself down. And what I did instead is I was like, pause, take some deep breaths. And all I did was take 20 deep breaths, and I fell asleep. Like, it is such a helpful tool, and it's so simple. It's getting air to your body. It is pausing. When you count to 4 to breathe in, hold for a second, count to 4 as you exhale. Slow, deep breaths help slow your mind down and slow those thoughts. So the river isn't racing, it's just flowing.
Hey, my favorite saying, if you came and take a voice lesson with me, when all else fails, you have your breath. I say it every time.
When all else fails, you have your breath. Sensory grounding. I love this method. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. I've
never used this.
Okay. So again, trauma. I for a very long period of time was having really bad panic attacks. I would get an anxiety trigger based on trauma, and they still come up. I was having a panic attack not too long ago, and this method 5-4-3-2-1, it's naming 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. So I learned this method in therapy when I was having a panic attack. I would lay down on the ground. That I don't know why that always was helpful to me. Grounding.
Literally, physically
grounding.
Literally
just get on the ground. Then I would look around the space that I was in, and I would do the 5-4-3-2-1. I would say, what are 5 things that I can see? I can see books. I can see pictures on the wall. I can see Elise. I can see the plant. I can see the records in the corner over there. I can touch the couch. I can touch the carpet. I can touch the iPad. I can touch my clothes. I can touch. I have a cat now, but I used to have a dog. I could touch the dog. Then you just go through all these things like what can you smell, and it just switches your brain like by using your all five senses, not your other five senses, minus the sixth sense, but you're using your five senses to distract from the thing that's causing you anxiety. I will say it does not always work.
I will have to use this. I'm very interested in this.
I think it's a great grounding technique. Then you have physical groundings, like I said, like getting on the ground, but feeling the ground beneath your feet, touching a textured object, like maybe a really soft rug or even just hardwood floor, engaging in gentle movement, like walking or stretching.
Walkabout.
Mental grounding, so using imagery to create a safe and calming space. I've also used this one. Not me just having used all of these, but mental grounding is I have like a place in my brain that's like my safe space. So when I feel overwhelmed by my thoughts and my own brain, I'm like, oh, like maybe I'll ground. I'll like get on the ground. I'll stand. I'll feel the earth beneath my feet, and then I'm like, we're gonna go into our actually for my book girlies, it's Violet in her archives. If you're a book girly who's read Fourth Wing, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not a book girly who's not read Fourth Wing, I will explain. Your archives or your safe space is like, for me, it's a field. It's just a grassy field with a bunch of wildflowers and a beautiful beaming sun. And I can like, when I go there, I'm like, it just immediately, like even just thinking about it right now, I'm like already like, oh, I love it here. Like it feels like a hug. And it becomes a space where it's like I'm alone in this field. It's blue skies with cute fluffy white clouds, a beautiful sun. I can feel the sun on my skin. I can smell the flowers like in my mind's eye. And it's just there's nothing else going on there.
Yeah.
My problems can't touch me when I'm in my flowery field. I feel like that's very on brand for me too, to have a flowery field, but then there's somatic grounding, when you engage your body through gentle tapping, self hugs, or body scans to increase body awareness and promote relaxation. And have you heard of tapping?
I literally was doing it. So
Yeah.
I have been doing tapping. I have this ritual before I go on stage where I tap each point 10 times. You will take just the tips of your fingertips, and it's not a hard, aggressive hit. It's very much a tap. So you can practice by taking your fingertips and tapping it into your palm. And that nice pressure is what you're going to want to aim for on these points. You can do the top of your head.
And these are your meridian points.
These are your meridian points. I personally like starting with the top of my head. Not everybody likes starting with that. 10 times is my goal, top of your head. Then you go to your eyebrows. You go right above it. Tap 10 times there. Then this is the one that everyone forgets about. You go to right below the eyebrows.
Ooh.
Then you go to your occipital bone, right there. Your cheekbones. Tap there 10 times.
Oh, I really needed that one.
Yep. And then you go to the space between your nose and the top of your lip. And you go to your chin. And then I personally go straight to the chest.
Okay.
Right below your collarbone. And then this is the one that usually most people start with. You do the outside of your hand. So you trace your pinky, and that's where most, I took a tapping class.
Yeah.
This is where most people start with.
Okay.
But like I said, I always start with the top of my head because that feels like it grounds me. And that's what I do before I go on stage.
Yeah.
Secret's out of the bag. I jump around, and then right before I'm about to go on stage, I hit all these points, and it resets me, and then I go.
I hope that everybody just tried that with us while we were doing it, because I feel so relaxed. Oh my God.
It's very fun.
That's magical. Okay. And then what are some other somatic things that we can do? Because I feel like this is like an area that you do a
Yeah,
lot
I mean,
of.
when you tap your chest, not right below the collarbone, but a little bit lower, right below those top uh, ribs, that activates your vagus nerve, which also gets activated when you start singing.
Okay.
And your vagus nerve will release happy hormones into your body. So when people come into me and they want a voice lesson or they're taking a voice lesson and maybe they've had a hard day, before we even do anything, I'm like, let's just tap because it's going to activate your vagus nerve before we start singing. Because sometimes singing can almost be violent to someone who's having a really stressful day. So I'm like, let's tap into that.
Well, doesn't humming or singing also activate your parasympathetic nervous system?
Yeah.
So walk me through that. How can it be both?
Your vagus nerve, not off the top of my head, is one of the largest nerves in your body. And it wraps all the way down your spine. And when you sing or hum or literally bring vibration into your body, you activate it. So not only, think about it this way, singing can bring a lot of joy sometimes. Maybe you love singing to yourself in the shower. That's your parasympathetic. You're resting, digesting. But if you're singing in front of a crowd of people, what does that do to you? And maybe you're not used to that. Then you're fight or flight. And that's your sympathetic nervous system. So I love teaching singing because you have to learn to balance both. One does not exist without the other. And it has been a great joy to watch people go through this, safe space of I'm never going to sing for anybody. And then they get into this balance and then they go and they do a karaoke or they audition for their community theater and they're like, it was so much fun. And I was like, congratulations, you've conquered this. You are now balancing your nervous system.
That's great. Amazing. So we have somatic grounding. We've got a few options there for people. We've got earthing,
my favorite.
Yes, this is like Elise's bread and butter.
Go touch a tree.
You make skin contact, so direct skin contact with the earth. So walking barefoot on grass or sand, like the beach. Go for a walk on the beach. It's believed to absorb excess positive charge from the body and promote relaxation. Progressive muscle relaxation, so tense and release. I've also done this a lot. So sometimes when you're like meditating, you go through your whole body. I actually used to back when I was dancing, I used to teach dance and I would do a stretch class. And at the end of stretch class, we would lay on the ground and I would walk them through like a 5 to 10 minute meditation and always end with tension. This progressive muscle relaxation.
Tighten and release.
Tighten your toes. Now release your toes. Now tighten your foot. Release your foot. Tighten your calf. Release your calf. But it's like, it's more than just like tighten and release. It's like as you tighten, you all your energy into that spot in your body and then you
breathe with it
as well. You breathe with it and you it's like you visualize that energy, like all that tension leaving your body.
Amazing.
It really does. It feels amazing. But
so how do we clear this? We've talked about things that we can do, but how do we clear energy that isn't ours?
So you use techniques like setting boundaries, visualizing that protective shield, and practices like meditation, smudging, salt baths. These all help you detach from unwanted energies and restore your own energetic balance. And this is all on a spiritual level. So think like setting boundaries. You identify, you detach, you verbalize. What is the problem? What is the boundary I need to set? Remind yourself that the energy isn't yours. Give yourself permission to release it. Then verbalize, I release all energy that isn't mine. Or set the boundary with the person you want to protect your energy from. Visualization method, like actually visualizing a shield, like it is so literal.
I always forget to do this.
Yeah. And the shield can be like white light. It can be a bubble. Like I like to think of it as a white light, like emanating from me, and anything can't penetrate my white light. You calm your mind through meditation to help you detach from external energies, focus on your breath, center yourself, And then use affirmations again, like I release all energy that isn't mine.
And you repeat that enough, your brain will start to believe you.
Yeah. And you will clear that unwanted energy. Physical, like environmental practices, you can do smudging, burning sage, cleansing herbs that can help clear negative energy from your space and aura. Just remember that smudging is an indigenous practice. So be respectful, be mindful when you're doing it.
Know where you're getting your plants from,
exactly.
where you're getting your
Make
sage
sure
sticks from.
Source everything ethically. Mm-hmm. Then, and I will also note that you can grow your own sage at home and
dry it out.
Dry it out. Grow and harvest your own.
So and also know, I was having trouble finding sage a little bit ago because I think it was running low just nationally. So I got a bunch of rosemary sticks and like stuff that's not just sage because I paid attention. It was low.
There you go. Salt baths like Epsom salts or sea salt can help draw out and neutralize negative energy from your body. Did you know that salt is a natural disinfectant?
I think I did, but I don't know why. Like I remember cutting myself at the beach and my parents would be like, just go get in the water.
Yeah, salt water, salt in the wound.
Oh, there you go.
It stings, but it disinfects. Nature walks, so spending time in nature can help you reconnect with natural energy and release accumulated stress. As two people who walk outside every single day, we can attest to this. And then declutter.
What you talked about.
Yeah, it's like physically clearing your space. It's spring cleaning. It's getting rid of all the old stuff that no longer brings you joy. It's Marie Kondoing your life. Does this still bring you joy? Yes or no? And then we have more techniques.
Cut the cord.
Yeah.
Visualize a cord of light connecting you to the other person and then gently cut it. Symbolizing the release of the energetic connection. Then we prompt journal prompts every week. Yeah. I mean, come on, there goes without saying now.
Yeah.
It helps you get all your shit out that maybe you shouldn't put in an email or a text message. And then sound healing. Different vibrations from different instruments like singing bowls can help clear and balance your energy. Also, if you're a creature of habit who listens to the same music all the time, switch it up. Go listen to frequencies. Go listen to classical music, even if it isn't your jam. You never know what these types of genres of music can do for your brain and then your body. And creative activities. Engaging in creative activities that can be healthy in a way to process emotions and release stagnant energy, even if it is as simple as doing a puzzle, painting by numbers, watercolors, anything. Tap into that inner child.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you.
Mm-hmm. And then by using these methods, you can effectively clear up energy that isn't yours. Your life becomes more balanced, and then you are that lighthouse leading the way.
So empaths or highly sensitive people can protect their energy in draining environments. So if you know you're walking into a situation or you're going to be around a person, and I mean, as two empaths, I can tell you right now, and I'm, not calling anybody out, but like there have been people in my life that I just know before I see them, I need to go protect my energy. Like I need to be prepared that I might open myself up too much to this person because there could be trust there. So shielding, visualizing that barrier, again, visualizing that bubble of light around yourself, grounding, again, connect with the moment, be present, like take deep breaths, don't react, look at what's going on, be aware.
And I think it's important to know, to go back, that if you're an empath, all it takes, all the techniques we just talked about, you can have, but we've talked and we preach and we practice that being present is the most important thing first and foremost.
Yeah.
So if you're present enough to be like, hey, this person triggers me, this is how you can then activate one of these techniques to shield or protect yourself.
Yeah. I have a favorite saying when I know I'm going to be in a space or around people that are draining. I call it observation mode.
Go into observation mode.
Going into observation mode. And I say it with friends now too, because I think enough of my close friends know what I mean when I say that. But what I mean when I say, oh, I'm in observation mode. I'm just observing. I'm not contributing a lot to conversations. I'm not taking things on. It's like instead of in absorption mode, I'm just here to observe. I am just a spectator and I'm taking in a lot of information and I'm seeing what's going on around me. I'm aware, but I'm not a participant.
Keyword participant.
Yeah. I'm just detached. It's detachment. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm still present. I'm still grounded. I'm just observing and taking note.
There you go.
And taking note with myself. So, yeah, we've mentioned a lot of ways that you can protect. But a lot of it is awareness. So be aware of your own energy levels. Set boundaries with yourself, not just with other people. If you know you're going to a party tonight and you have a really early day tomorrow, maybe you don't stay out till 3 in the morning. Maybe you don't stay out till 4. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to leave at 11. And when somebody says, hey, no, stay, hang out with us.
People, I've been driving people crazy the past few years. I refuse to take shots anymore. Like, come on. And I'm like, you can literally bully me for the next 3 hours. I am not picking up that shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I have actually said that to people. I'm like, keep calling me a loser, keep telling me I'm not fun. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not picking it up.
Exactly. And
sorry.
Be firm in that. So to finish up, because we've talked a lot about how to do this, what is true energetic maintenance versus spiritual bypassing? And I've got a little chart to tell us the difference of the two. So approach to challenges. When you're truly embracing energetic maintenance, you approach challenges by embracing uncomfortable emotions and actively working through them. When you're bypassing, you're using spirituality to avoid or escape difficult emotions and issues.
And a reminder to people that, like, in the moment, it may be hard to recognize this. I'm speaking from experience that I have a very dear friend of mine who was doing this, and she herself was able to recognize it later on. And she actually thanked me. She was like, I know that you were there with me, kind of giving me hints, but you never called me out on it. And I was like, because babe, there was no way to call you out on it. You were in it.
It's also hard to tell people, like, hey, I think you're spiritually bypassing, like you're ignoring your, like, what's actually meant to be learned here. I mean, that's their journey. That's for them. It's not for me. But so we've approached challenges for focus. Spiritual bypassing often focuses on the positive, sometimes to the point of unrealistic denial
and toxic positivity.
Yeah. Whereas true energetic maintenance is acceptance of all emotions, recognizing that they serve a purpose. Relationship with emotions. Spiritual bypassing suppresses or pushes away emotions deemed negative or unspiritual. Energetic maintenance makes space for all emotions, recognizing their value as messengers. Outcomes. Spiritual bypassing can hinder personal growth and development, and it may lead to unresolved issues festering. Whereas energetic maintenance, this fosters genuine healing, resilience, and a healthier relationship with emotions. And then authenticity. Spiritual bypassing creates a superficial facade of spirituality, whereas energetic maintenance involves true self-discovery and honest self-reflection.
Always be a scholar. Always be asking questions. Always be learning more.
And don't be afraid to call yourself out on your bullshit.
Remember, protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's sacred. The more you tend to your energy, the more you can show up in the world as your full, clear, and connected self. Journal prompts. Because we've been talking about journaling the whole time. Where in my life do I feel my energy being drained, and what is that trying to teach me about my boundaries or needs? What practices help me come back to myself when I feel scattered, overwhelmed, or disconnected? And then can you make space for that? What emotions, energies, or attachments am I ready to release, and what do I want to call in to take their place?
Remember that setting boundaries is your right, and there's nothing wrong with setting a boundary. Hard, soft, squiggly, and you have to keep yourself emotionally regulated. Keep yourself aware.
We'll catch you at the next one. Thanks for joining us today. We're so glad you were here. For more information on our episodes and to connect with us on social media,
follow us at Spiritual Alchemy Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Stay golden!